Hey y'all, welcome back to Carolyn's Affirmations. I'm Carolyn, and I am going to do another affirmation today on those who are in the who have lost a loved one. So you're in the state of grief, you're grieving. This is designed for anybody who has recently lost someone. It's designed for anyone who has lost someone, and it's just still taking time to accept, and the healing just doesn't feel like it's working. Doesn't even feel like there's healing. You're just feeling in a place of just being stuck. This is for you. And I this is something that is very dear to me when it comes to the loss of a loved one. So the affirmation cards that I pull, the intent behind the cards that I pull are going to be strictly for those who are needing words of encouragement for losing a loved one, family member, a friend, etc. I hope and pray that the information, the content that I put out here for you is something that you need to hear and that it's right on time to help soothe your soul. So without further ado, I'm going to angle the camera so it's more focused on my table, so you can kind of see what I'm pulling. You can see that I'm legit and I'm not like, faking the funk when it comes to pulling stuff. And so I'll keep the focus on me so that way my energy can be focused on what needs to be pulled, and I'm just gonna keep a straight face. So I think everything is laid out. I think I kind of have what I need. Okay, so I'm good there. So I will go ahead and get right into it, and I will shuffle the cards. As before, this is not a tarot channel. This is strictly a channel to provide words of comfort, words of affirmation for those who are in need of it. So please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to get the content out to the viewers who are in need of viewing this information. And thank you once again for those who do watch my videos. I really do appreciate it. Please be sure to comment on anything, or if you would like for me to provide other different types of content on this page. As it evolves, as I evolve, this channel will evolve, okay? So I'll just go ahead and get right into it, and that way we can focus our energy and get the messages that we need to pull. So here we go. God, oh shoot, stuff is already coming out. I'll take these, but I really want to set the intent and kind of get it out there in the atmosphere. But God, please provide us words of encouragement for those who need it, who are dealing with the loss of a loved one. God, I pray and ask that whatever messages on mindfulness come out be messages that people who watch this video are needing to see, needing to listen to. I pray and ask, Lord, that you provide any type of support and guidance that is needed as these cards fall out, Lord. I pray and ask that you allow my voice to just be used as a vessel for you, so that way we can get the messages across that need to be for those who need it. So a couple already came out. I'll just take that one as well. Okay, so I have a feeling as though I might just pull from this stack of cards. I'll just start with these right here that have fallen out, and then I'll just kind of go with the vibe of whatever I'm feeling, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and flip over the cards that have came out. We will talk about them, and then we will move from there, okay? So I'm not putting these in any kind of order or organization. I'm just laying these cards out so I can see them. There's no right and wrong way on how to read cards when it comes to this, okay? These, like I said, are cards on mindfulness. They're not tarot. So the first card that I have right here reads, hold lightly, okay? So let's go ahead and read it. I take the things and people that come into my life lightly, not holding on too tight, so that when it comes time for them to go, they may go smoothly. This does not mean I love any less or not value, but that I am open to the changes of life. Hold lightly. I know it's really difficult to hold lightly, especially when it comes to losing a loved one, a family member, a friend, or a spouse. But just trust and believe and understand that when this card is talking about hold lightly, it's not necessarily, it really benefits you and the other person who has to go. When you hold lightly, it helps you not to remain paralyzed or stuck in or suspended in this state of of the unknown, I guess you could say. I feel as though if and when we hold lightly to life itself, I do truly believe that it will allow for transitions, evolution to come about a little bit more easier. I feel like when you hold lightly to people and things, we are able to gain better clarity sooner rather than later. I feel as though right now, for those who are watching this video who are struggling with the loss of a loved one, I do believe that God is truly wanting you to acknowledge what their presence was for you and what it did for you. Respect that and honor it, and then release it back, okay? All right, the next card that I have reads Loving Space, okay? And it's a picture of a clock, so let's see what it reads. It says, I cannot learn other people's lessons for them. They must get there themselves at their own time. I can simply hold loving space for them as they go through their journey. So I feel as though for someone out there who has lost a loved one, this may be something strictly or dedicated for you right now. I cannot learn other people's lessons. They must get there themselves. I can simply hold loving space for them as they go through their journey. So I feel like when it comes to the loss of a loved one, holding space for that loved one, but not dwelling there all the time, because at the end of the day, you're still here. As you can see, the time, the clock, time is linear. I've said that before in another one of my videos. And so hold loving space for them. Acknowledge their presence. There's nothing wrong with honoring that person in the life or legacy that they may have left behind. Hold space for them. And although this card is depicting, or I feel as though it's interpreted of you holding space for someone and loving them lightly as they go through their journey, but I would like to reverse that as you go through your journey of keeping and holding a loving space for that person. I just truly encourage that you acknowledge these being lessons for yourself from the loss of a loved one, that this is a part of your journey. This was a part of their story. It's a part of your story. There's still something to be done. There's still something to have learned from their existence. And so be sure and always acknowledge and honor that. Give reverence to those who have impacted you and have loved you. Okay? Hold a loving space for them, but hold lightly, okay? Nurture is the next card that we have right here. Nurture, and as you can see, it's a picture of a couch. So it reads, it's okay to want to stay home and be alone. I deserve days to myself, days to relax and simply be. I honor how I feel and take this day to do the things that feel nurturing to me. And sometimes as truly okay, when you're dealing with the loss of a loved one and you're just grieving, you just don't want to be bothered with people, and you just rather be alone, isolate, seclude yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just know that everybody needs time alone, time to understand, and really just time to just chill out. So if you need to veg out on the couch, you just need a moment to just not think about nothing, just really take this time to take care of yourself, because it really is important. Because at the end of the day, once it's all said and done, you still have to be there for you, right? So I don't think there's nothing wrong with, honoring that part of yourself, okay? If this is going to be nurturing to the process of grief, then please do so, okay? But please take care of yourself. All right, the next one reads projecting. Projecting. Rather than reacting and projecting my emotions onto others, I remember no one is to blame. No one is responsible for the emotions that I feel. When someone says or does something that brings up strong emotions within me, I have the choice in how I respond. Amen. That's very, very true. When you're grieving and you're going through the loss, especially a death, it's easy to project anger, hostility, animosity, frustration. I mean, people can sense and feel that just from the energy that you put out there. So if that does become an issue where, you're projecting the grief, I don't know if necessarily somebody would necessarily pull you aside, but I really encourage, and especially on my channel, I really do encourage people to be a little bit more in tune to themselves. So this isn't to say that somebody's going to pull you aside, but this is more so of you checking yourself. When you are still in that state of grief, loneliness, anger, brokenheartedness, whatever the case may be from that loved one, just remember that nobody is to blame. You know, their death, I don't know how it came about. I don't know what the reasons or the cause behind their death, but obviously it has impacted you to a degree. But even when you do feel yourself projecting and your emotions are getting the best of you, it is important possibly for you to stop and nurture yourself, okay? So I'm going to go back and review some of these other cards. Create a loving space for yourself. Acknowledge that person, their existence in your life held some, it held a level of, what's the word I'm looking for? That person who you lost, their existence did hold a level of, what's the word I'm looking for? There, gosh, I'm going blank. It's like there, you know, it held, you may have held that person in high esteem and now they're no longer here for you. Acknowledge that. Create a loving space. Remember them, you know. But then also with this projecting card, no one's responsible for how you feel. You're responsible for how you feel. So just remember to tap back into nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself. If you have to pause for the cause and step away from people or things, please do so. You know, because at the end of the day, you have to protect your energy. You have to continue to move forward. Time is linear, so we have to continue to live this life without those who have transcended, okay? And we're still left behind to a degree, okay? When someone says or does something that brings up strong emotions within me, I have the choice in how I respond. And sometimes projection, you know, and when we're dealing and feeling certain feelings, they probably aren't directed to the loss of the loved one. It could be on the job and things aren't going right, and then you just flip out because somebody didn't sign their name off and provide the signature that you needed, or somebody, you know, had a typo, somebody miscalculated something, and then you go off on the deep end. But it's just kind of like, hold on, am I really going off on the deep end because of someone else's error, or am I really going off on the deep end because this created an opportunity for me to vent and be angry and, you know, misdirect that anger to something or someone else? Don't project. When you start sensing yourself doing shit like that, this is the time for you to pause for the cause and remember that you are in charge of your emotions, no one else, okay? And I say this with love and with I hope reassurance for those who need it, because I don't want you to feel like I'm chastising you, but I definitely have been in a place, in a state of always constantly losing. You know, for those who know me near and dear, I have experienced a lot of death within a short time span, where I've lost my mother, my father, a grandmother, some additional relatives, and, you know, a sister-in-law. Like, this stuff, loss is never an easy thing. And then experiencing loss at a high rate is just mind-blowing, and it can leave you numb, and it can leave you feeling at a sense of, like, at a loss, and just being hopeless about your circumstance, and that nothing's gonna ever get better. I definitely feel that. I mean, something that, you know, I am slowly but surely having to acknowledge every step of the way, and you will as well. So I just say this with loving as possible, but please don't project. And if and when you sense yourself getting there, that means it's time to pull back, okay? All right. The next card reads fuel. Fuel. It says, I enjoy doing things that fuel me. It feels great to do things for myself just as much as I do for others. When I make sure I am taken care of, I can better show up for those in my life and for the work that I do. So, you know, just kind of going back to taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself. If you need to like step away and just be alone in the house and veg out on the couch and do whatever it is you need to do to take care of yourself, okay? Because at the end of the day, in spite of losing that loved one, the world still turns. We still have to get up and go to work once our bereavement, is up, unless you took all the vacation days that you have. But at some point, you have to get back to the basics. And it doesn't feel good and it feels off and strange, but you definitely have to do that. But fuel yourself with the things that matter the most to you. These are things that are going to help carry you on for the next day. Make sure that you're showing up for yourself just as much. Okay? Enjoy doing something that does make you feel good. So if you're in a place of solitude while you're grieving, be sure that while you're taking the time to be alone, that you are doing things that uplift you, that support you. They are things, activities, events, conversations that will support and provide you the comfort that you're needing so that you can go to the next level, okay? Because when it comes to the loss of a loved one, honestly, you never get over that shit. Part of you goes with that person, depending on the level of love, the relationship that it was for you. You don't get them back. You have to keep moving forward. But I'm hoping that in the midst of moving forward, that you begin to reinvent yourself and create new things that will bring happiness and joy, and that can provide abundance into your life, because that's what's going to be needed. Okay, surround yourself with the people that have your back just as much as you have their back. Don't surround yourself with people who, just there just to see what's going on and not going to do nothing for you, And then lastly, the better it gets, because it will get better. It will get better. There will be ebbs and flows of it, but it will get better. But let's read what this says. It reads, when things happen that cause me to feel good, I know there are much more good feeling things coming my way. The better it gets, and I keep rising. So just know, with time, it will get better. But with time, you also need to be proactive in wanting to get better, okay? So, like I've mentioned before, if and when you do have a good day, because there will be ebbs and flows, highs and lows, when you do catch a good high vibrational moment, run with it. Run with it. Take it and use that to take you to the next day and the next hour. Whatever it is, because everybody's grieving is completely different, and it's not going to look the same, and it's not going to be the same path. Okay? Let me tell you, I was out of work for a month when my mother passed away. If I'm going to be 100% transparent on this channel, I don't even remember, the month. Once I did return to work, it just felt like I was starting all over again. I had to take a break. I had to take a 15-minute break every hour when I first got back, the first couple of weeks of work, just because I could not focus and center myself the way that I could to get my job done. But there were moments and days where it did get better. There were times and, friends who came and supported me and helped me get out of that. And I'm very appreciative and thankful of that. And, there are things that I did during my grieving that I truly regret. There are things that, I've said that I would love to take back, but I can't, It's a lot that goes on with grieving. But now that I'm in a different space of reflecting, I know what I have to do to protect myself. I know what I need to do to, if and when someone else does pass. Because, when you experience a lot of death, unfortunately, just death in general, when you experience a lot of that stuff, it does create this numb feeling in life. So you may not take everything serious. But in the midst of the numbness, as negative as that sounds, the positive part of it is that I have been able to hold lightly to various circumstances and situations now. I did not view it as that, but I'm just rephrasing how the numbness has helped me to not hold on so tightly or to place people on pedestals and to idolize individuals, because at the end of the day, we all breathe, sleep, drink, eat, and shit the same way. And when our time comes and our time is up, you know, and we transcend, the imprint of what we left behind will be left on those who are here to mourn our loss. And over time, for me, I just would say that it's taught me that through death, you have to hold lightly to people, no matter if it's your mother, if it's your father, your husband, your wife, whoever. You have to hold lightly, because we're here and gone, and there's nothing we can do about it. So it does put you in a place where you have to think completely different about the situation. So that way you can continue to function, but function in a healthy and hopefully high vibrational stance eventually. Not always, but eventually. And you will get there. Okay? All right. Okay, I felt that. I'm going to pull from this one. I'll just do one card here. God, what do you have for your people who are grieving right now? What is a word of encouragement that you would like? Here we go. Here we go. This one's titled Create. It says, a gentle whisper here, a tug within your womb there. You can sense it, can't you? When you lie awake at night wondering why you cannot sleep, your body knows what you are here to do. The wisdom of your purpose is ingrained in your very cells. So, when you hear that faint whisper pulling at your heart, when you feel the beckoning in your womb, strong and clear as day, when you find you cannot sleep, it is time to create. It is time to create. And creating, I mean, this is just, it could be anything, writing, setting out some goals. This is going to help you get yourself, when you're grieving and it's time to create something, this is going to help pull you out of that funk. And it doesn't matter what it is that you set in stone, but this is just an example of trying to be proactive in the time of grief. But in your time, when you're ready to create, when you're ready to set those goals out to feel better, you will. But just give yourself that grace. And when the time comes, your time will come. Okay, I will pull one card on gratitude. Let's see, God, what message do you have for your people who are grieving right now the loss of a loved one? What words of comfort would you like to provide them on this video? Come on, it's not moving. Let me shuffle it this way. What word of encouragement would you have for your people who are grieving at this time, oh God? Please provide and shed some light on what message you have. Okay. I'll take one. I said I was only going to take two, but you know, when they fall out, they fall out. So I'm just going to pray and hope that this is something that somebody needs who is dealing or going through a sense of grief. So the first one, here, I'll go here. Affirmation. This is an affirmation card, if you can see it, okay? It reads, what if right now you have everything that you actually need? And that's it. What if right now you have everything that you need? Enough is a feast, okay? So sometimes when you're dealing with the loss of a loved one, you feel this sense of loss. You feel this sense of incompleteness. However, if you reframe your thinking and your thoughts, what if what you have right now is enough for you to continue to move on? Not to discredit the fact that the person is gone, because at the end of the day, when we transcend, it's our time and our purpose is being called to do something else or to be somewhere else. But like I mentioned earlier, what we do right now down here, and when we transcend, it will leave an impression, and it will leave a mark on the people who we were involved with, who we interacted with. So if you're a person who has felt left behind because your loved one has transcended, think on not just the loss, but just what you have right now. Think on what it is that you're so up in your mind about when it came to that loss, that you feel like you don't have anything. No, you have everything you need. Okay? Sometimes we like to, when we get hyper focused in our emotions, we can't see clearly, we can't think clearly. We go into this negative state all the time, and so we can't find resolutions. We can't see the positivity in anything, especially when it comes to death, especially when it was an unexpected death, especially when it was something that you feel like it should have never been. I'm not saying to dismiss that. What I'm saying is, while you're going through this grief, you need to pause and tell yourself, I have everything that I need right now in this moment. In spite of my loved one no longer being with me, I still have everything that I need to get me to where I need to go next. With or without them, you have everything you need. So maybe that's something that somebody needs to continue to tell themselves, because maybe when a person has left and died, you feel like you have nothing to offer. You feel like you may have nothing to give. You have everything that you need in this moment. You need to do the soul searching. You need to do the internal work to understand what exactly you have right now that will make it be enough for you to get to where you need to go next. Okay, I hope that made sense. I know it was as simple as it was, but that can be a very complex thing if you're not thinking clearly. Okay, because grief is it's nothing to play with. And I say that, because I've been there and I've done that several years. Okay, here we go. Reflection. Send compassionate energy towards a person who has hurt you in the past. Your wounds are your greatest points of growth. Send compassionate energy towards a person who has hurt you in the past. Your wounds are your greatest points of growth. I like the last part. Your wounds are your greatest points of growth. Remember that what you're feeling is what you need to be feeling right now. Doesn't mean that you have to stay there, but those emotions are going to help you, and they should map out where you're at in your life, where you need to go, and what you need to be doing. Okay, you really look at your grief as a sense of growth. Then I hope and pray that eventually one day you will see that it was meant for you to encounter that loss, even though it doesn't feel like it. You were designed to encounter that, because nothing is left up to luck, unfortunately. Everything is part of the plan, and I truly believe that. It's up to us to accept that, to seek it out, and to really get the clarity that it's on us, okay? So your grief is a part of your growth. That pain is a part of your growth. Now, you got to use it to be a part of your growth instead of stunt your growth, okay? All right, the next one is on inspiration, okay? This one reads, think of a time recently when you have pushed on, be it through exhaustion or obstacles. Find contentment in your strength. Amen. Amen, because when you're grieving, oh my God, let me flip it, because I got to talk to y'all about this. When you're grieving, don't you know that that's part of your strength? Your grief is a part of your strength. I just want somebody to truly know that. Your grief is a part of your strength. You have no idea how strong you really are when you feel like you're at your lowest, when you feel like you can't go anymore, and you ready to close in the curtains and do the cast call. You just have no idea how strong you might be. Someone's watching you, especially when you're going through the loss of a loved one, because certain people can't, I'll just even say from my own personal experience, when I was dealing with the loss of my mother, the loss of my father, helping my brother raise his child, taking on responsibilities of helping raise a sister, like, people didn't know I numbed myself to the 10. Okay, I was so numbed out. I just felt like I couldn't give anything else, but I had to, because these bills got to get taken care of and these kids got to get taken care of. So, but people have came to me and was just like, oh my gosh, I found so much strength in watching how you handled your situation. I found so much comfort and support in watching how you support your family and how you do this and how you do that and how you still find strength to keep moving forward. Your grief is a part of your strength because somebody's watching you grieving. Somebody's watching you deal with all of the burdens that life has thrown at you, and you have no idea your current struggle is truly helping somebody else. Your struggle is a part of your testimony. It's a part of your growth, but somebody is watching you. So just be mindful that as you take care of yourself, other people are going to see that. And you are really showing and teaching other people what it is to handle grief. It's a part of your strength. I don't know. It's something about that. It's just grief can be a part of your strength. Grief is a part of your growth. Because it's like, if I can withstand all of these things, I mean, come on, throw something else at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might feel numb and pain to stuff. And I've had things to be thrown at me, that have caught me off guard. But, in my head, I just felt so numb to it. I was just kind of going with the flow. But somebody was like, oh my God, I would have flipped out. I would have did this. I would have did that. I would have known what to do. But you just handled it so well. Give yourself a pat on the back for handling your grief the way that you've handled it. Because can't nobody do that shit like you. Okay? Like, I just had to turn the camera because somebody needs to know that their grief is a part of their strength. It's a part of their growth. Okay? So take strength, find comfort in that. Okay? Because some people can't do what you're doing. And guess what? That is completely okay. But it was designed for you. Okay? All right, here's another one. It says, what good did you have in your life today? How can you bring awareness of these things forward? Think of a ritual for tomorrow that will remind you of your happiness today. Think of a ritual for tomorrow that will remind you of your happiness today. And this is a card on reflection, if you can see that, okay? Think of a ritual for tomorrow that will remind you of your happiness today. Some people journal, Some people pray. Some people read their Bible. I don't know what it is, but you have to reflect on the good things as well as the bad. This is the timeline of your emotional growth and development as an adult. I just, because people don't ever tell you, I don't think parents are equipped. First of all, you're never equipped to be a parent when it's time to be a parent, okay? So as a parent, it would be a struggle to equip children or other people that you care for how to handle grief and things. Like, people don't teach you how to handle relationships, grief, and loss and things like that. You just learn it from dealing with yourself and focusing on yourself and wanting better for yourself. That's how you learn, okay? You are the best teacher. You are the best expert to yourself, okay? And I'm going to close this out with a couple of scriptures because when it comes to grief, oh my goodness, it feels like it lasts a lifetime, but just know that there's peaks of happiness in between. There's ebbs and flows of happiness, and I pray and hope that whoever is grieving the loss of a loved one right now, I truly believe that you will find the comfort and support that you need. Something will catapult you out of that scenario into something else, so that when you look back on that experience of losing that loved one, that you can thank God, you can thank yourself that you didn't lose yourself, that it was a part of your growth and it was needed, okay? It is needed. Because at the end of the day, guess what? You're not dead yet. You're not dead, And I say that not to sound rude or dismissive. You have to remember, I've dealt with a lot when it comes to death, okay? But we're going to close it out with some scriptures, especially for those who are, dealing with the loss of a loved one. And it's okay. God, what would you have for your people who are dealing with grief and the loss of a loved one? Please close us out with a scripture that will provide some form of comfort and healing for your people on today. Amen. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. It says, life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that we take our breath away. Amen. See how that came in right on time? Let me make sure this is right. It reads, life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. So as you are reflecting on the person that you have lost, think on those good times. Think on those memories or those moments that, like I said, it took your breath away. Think on those moments. That's part of living life. That's how your life is measured. How it's measured by the impact, not how long you lived on this earth. It's measured by how your presence impacted those around you. All right. It says, I pray that God will be kind to you and will bless you with peace. 1 Thessalonians 1:1. And I truly believe that. I want whoever is grieving the loss of a loved one, dealing with that hardship, that you find peace and comfort in the most unique, interesting ways. And I hope that the peace that you receive lasts long time for you. Okay. As far as the rest of these messages, I hope that there was something, a card that I pulled out that resonated with someone out there. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my page. And until next time, you take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys later. Okay. Bye.